I guess this makes me queen!
Huh?
King.
The first half of the second season of Xiaolin Showdown does a lot of establishing for, like, what is the difference between good and evil? How do Shen Gong Wu and own free will guide a warrior's decision? And after all this Shen Gong Wu collection chaos, there is such a deeper narrative that has been waiting to come out all this time. Yeah, the darkest story in any kid's cartoon. Not only does the evil villain enact like an over 5-6 episode plan to turn Omi to the dark side, but you could tell hints of it all throughout this entire season.
To look for a way to destroy the spiders, and not evil.
You remember how I introduced you to Chase in Master Monk Guan, where we learned his backstory, and he was once a warrior himself, and now he's got even crazier intentions to turn Omi to the dark side, which inevitably does happen if you remember the show, if you cared about this growing up, but you know what? The way it happens is sick and twisted, and it takes so many steps that you were not noticing it in all the episodes leading up to it. So it's my honor to take you through the final 13 episodes of Season 2 and how the greatest plan of evil cartoons is enacted. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny 2000, and let's dive into the second season of Xiaolin Showdown.
Yes! I am in heat!
No, Omi, you're on fire, on fire!
This next episode low-key gives another lore drop. It's called The Emperor Scorpion Strikes Back. It basically starts out with the monks at the temple, and suddenly the Shen Gong Wu starting to act up, like they're being transported to this beam in the sky, and I personally think it's aliens, but you know what, let's just sit around and watch. Oh my god, Omi goes up with it, with all the monks trying to trail along, but then they end up falling, which is my nightmare.
Dojo, dude, how come you didn't just fly?
Good idea. Just a little late.
Meanwhile, Jack is also experiencing the same issue, so it's almost not a good or evil situation, it's about the planets aligning, which Master Feng explains to the monks later. Apparently, they're going to be forming a Mala Mala Zhang again, and honestly, this kind of detracts from the original sighting of Mala Mala Zhang in Season 1, because it makes it seem like it's a little bit more often than possible, and then maybe when he's activated, there's not 1,000 years of darkness, so I guess there's less stakes than usual. I don't know. They go to this really cool location, which I love the fog and the atmosphere. It's like a dark volcano, where they follow the Shen Gong Wu.
Place is creepier than Auntie May giving herself a sponge bath.
Ew. Dojo, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm still thinking about Auntie May's sponge bath.
Turns out the Shen Gong Wu have a mind of their own and are forming Mala Mala Zhang. Oh my gosh. There's also a recurring joke throughout this episode that Jack has the Ring of the Nine Dragons and makes lower, less quality versions of himself. It kind of sounds like me and my YouTube channel sometimes. Just kidding. So Omi is insistent that he could take on Jack by himself, so he leaves the monks behind to stop him, only to get him in trouble. The Mala Mala Zhang ends up forming without him stopping it, and oh no, we have some trouble. All because Omi couldn't wait for the rest of the crew. Ugh, so annoying.
I am afraid, Mala Mala Zhang has come to life.
Turns out there's this Shen Gong Wu that actually could solve their entire problem. Again, it feels a little quick and cheap, but whatever. The Emperor Scorpion allows you to control other Shen Gong Wu. It would be one thing if it was used in any other episode beside this, but I don't think it is. So all around, it's kind of a stupid idea. So yeah, multiple Jacks are only frustrating Wuya more and more.
I prefer to keep things on a need-to-know basis.
And Wuya's idea is to, like, team up with Mala Mala Zhang and give him the Shen Gong Wu, which at first you think is like, why would you do that? But then it turns out this is all a larger plot to be able to control Mala Mala Zhang. You know, like, you would have control over all the Shen Gong Wu, essentially. And with the Ring of the Nine Dragons, you could multiply the Shen Gong Wu. Whoa, I was not expecting that. That's crazy. I definitely think the mystical world should have a rule against duplicating magic, but you know what? It's gonna come up again. They finally use a tunnel armadillo to dig to the center of the Earth. And how cool is it that they actually get to go to the center of the Earth again? I love how it's just like this location they occasionally go to. So with them, Jack, and Mala Malas all trying to get this Emperor Scorpion, things feel like really intense.
According to the ancient scroll, the fearsome four's appearance marks the end of the world.
They face off against one another in like a really quick battle, and of course Omi needs to learn how to share responsibilities with the other monks, and you know what? He doesn't. So Jack gets away with it. He gets the Emperor Scorpion and gets mad with power as if he wasn't already.
I can't tell. Is he winning?
I'm guessing no.
So the monks are like super distracted, very nervous about their future considering they can't even beat Jack Spicer. And Omi's actually admitting humility here, that like it is kind of his fault, and I like that for a character growth moment of his.
Working together is more than just fighting together. It is knowing how to use each other's strengths wisely.
Hey, could somebody please translate?
So they are pretty insistent they're never going to be able to face Jack again, like kind of like the Sands of Time episode, and the one where Omi gets too big. Like, Jack does have the upper hand every now and then.
Tap dancing!
And they try to take him down in his own lair. The third time the monks are invading personal property. Oh my gosh, so there's no rules allowed in the Shaolin Temple. So the monks end up going against Mahjong times 4 in this showdown. The winner does get the Emperor Scorpion, and I guess I'm worried about them winning because then they'll have free reign. I don't know. This entire one takes place in the dark, which must have been a nightmare for the animators, but it does make for a really interesting sequence. It's just like you can't really see that much, so I don't even know how they edited this.
Falcon's Eye! Clay, go left! Now right, now left again! Clay, catch!
Raimundo's able to see what's going on kind of using the Falcon's Eye, which is a nice new use for that Shengang Wu. I love it when they find new ways to use old Shengang Wu. It just makes it seem a lot more thrifty. They end up winning the Emperor Scorpion, and the monks come out on top once again. Another refreshing start to an episode. And do you know what? This next 13 are going to be really intense, so it's good that we start off this way. Come on, monks, you're going to need it.
So who gets first pick?
Following the Emperor Strikes Back episode, there's a lot more that's going to happen with Chase Young, so they kind of keep him on the sidelines for now, which is smart if you ask me. We definitely want to get some episodic ideas out before we get to this really dark story arc with Chase Young taking over Omi. Whew, gosh, I'm already scared just thinking about it.
And what's with his girly eyeliner? Still in the room over here!
So the next episode is actually lore into Clay's world. It's called The Black Vipers, which is referring to this motorcycle gang, interesting, in Texas. It starts out with them doing this really fun training exercise at night where they have to deliver a stick of fire to one another, and how cool is this sequence? I just love seeing them like so in sync with one another, especially after some of the loss in different episodes.
Teriyaki pork?
We see that Clay is easily distracted by food, and they act as if it's a character flaw, especially since it's his episode, but I like how it's more about his stubbornness. So they head to Texas to get the next Shengang Wu, which is the Sphere of Yoon, and Clay knows this all too well. It's like one of the few times they go to America, which is very unique for this kind of show. And he basically fights off all the bikers immediately, until they kidnap him and the monks.
I'll take that half pint. Yeah!
So next thing you know, they're on this Donkey Kong-esque cart underground, when most of this episode is actually them being captured. Like, the biggest plot twist is that the leader of this biker gang is Clay's sister, Jessie. Oh my gosh.
Sister?
Jesse?
So yeah, it's revealed Clay has a sister, and it's not done in a tacky way. They actually are pretty straightforward about it. Like, they argue, and the dynamic is clear that Clay is the favorite, and Jessie has grown to be bitter and a villain. I remember this playing a lot of times on Cartoon Network when the show first came to the channel, so it is cool seeing this episode again. Very nostalgic. I swear I saw Kimiko's look like this as like her look for the whole show, when really she only did it once. So they're tied onto ropes, levitating, being hung in these jail cells, which is actually really dark, and everybody's just like, why don't you just make up with your sister? And he's kind of stubborn about it. He, like, doesn't want to, which makes a lot of sense.
That sounds most inviting. Where do we go?
Omi, we're already in the hospitality suite.
Oh, I see. Perhaps I am misunderstanding the meaning of hospitality. Or the meaning of sarcasm.
And they continue their journey to get the Shengong Wu. They follow the trail all the way down lower into the ground where they find the Sphere of Yun, which is one of my favorites. It allows you to capture somebody and take their powers. How cool is that? It's actually in the Xiaolin Showdown video game as well, so it's really cool. The Black Vipers end up going there as well, with Clay and Jesse in yet another standoff. Oh, the sibling rivalry is hilarious.
Yeah, and I'm not the one yellower than a slice of Auntie Clarabelle's lemon silk custard pie.
Will you two please stop abusing the English language?
This time around, Jack Spicer makes an appearance, which makes a lot of sense. They're tracking down the Shengong Wu, why not? And he ends up befriending the Black Vipers and pretty much controlling them.
And since you have defeated us, our law demands that you inherit leadership of the Black Vipers.
Yes! I guess this makes me queen!
Huh?
King.
Because I guess the Black Vipers are loyal to anybody who takes them down. Okay, so yeah, Jack Spicer gets mad with power once again and captures everybody. So it's just like people capturing other people for like the majority of the episode. It almost doesn't even feel like they want the Shengong Wu. It's just like they want the people. Jessie sucked up to Jack Spicer, and it's clear that she's planning on double-crossing him. Well, I mean, not clear at first. They use the Golden Tiger Claws to throw the monks at even deeper jail. It's just like monks go to jail type episode, because Jessie comes back trying to make their escape and says, like, that she's learned her lesson, and it's very suspicious. It definitely starts the story arc of Omi believing people too much when they say they're good.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Clay, she is telling the truth. I am never wrong about these things.
Dojo turns out he hid the monk's Shengong Wu in a cactus so they couldn't get stolen, and that's kind of a genius idea. Jessie turns her back on everybody. Aw, so you're kind of upset because really, like, it seemed like she was gonna be on their side, but it was too early in the episode to tell. And then she turns on Jack. Oh, wow. Okay, so she's clear about her intentions. She planned on betraying everybody the entire time, which is kind of a sad way to live, and character-wise, very depressing. Of course, Clay feels the overwhelming responsibility to take her down, so he's the one who competes in the showdown.
Well, looks like if you want your warts, you and me are gonna have a Xiaolin Showdown.
We have this really awesome motorcycle race, which is interesting because Clay, I don't think I've seen him on a motorcycle. I don't know why that's not the part of the plot. Okay. But yeah, they race for the bag of Shengong Wu, which turn out to be like all of them. I've never seen them race for a bag of Shengong Wu before. This is dangerous. So in the end, Clay loses, which is, oh my gosh, this show and people losing is just so sad.
Are you hurt?
Just my pride, and maybe where I sit.
But Jessie starts to develop a little bit of a heart and actually worry about her relationship with her brother. And it ends with Clay looking at a picture of him as a child. It's so sad. But it doesn't end quite yet. He ends up getting all the Shengong Wu back with a nice, thoughtful note from her, and everything turns out okay. And I wish we saw her again, because it's a really heartwarming storyline, but she and the Wings of Tanabe, by the way, she takes the Shengong Wu and keeps it for herself, not fair, and she just sails off into the distance. Okay, cool episode all around.
But sometimes you are just too trusting.
I just like that we have, like, new environments we could be exploring, like, different dynamics of characters we already know. Like, I feel like Raimundo and Omi get so much of the plot that anything with Kimiko and Clay is just a breath of fresh air to begin with.
You risked this freezing water to rescue me?
Well, you know, they say I'm kind of a rebel.
Next, we have another sexist episode. It's been a while since the monks have been sexist. I'm pretty proud of them. It's called Screams of the Siren. So it actually has to do with a mermaid and a mythical hunter, which I was not expecting at all. The show just develops its lore more and more with another Chase Youngless episode. It starts with Omi and Jack Spicer. It starts off with Omi and Jack Spicer in the midst of a showdown, an ice skating showdown in the Antarctica, I assume? And I keep forgetting to appreciate how the warriors are wearing their outfits a lot more. Like, after episode 13 is when they formally started wearing them, so, like, the fact that they're committed to the continuity is really awesome. So yeah, these monks are still working toward their next belt in the Xiaolin rankings. This showdown in particular, they're fighting for the gills of Hamachi, one of my favorites, which actually allow you to breathe underwater. Such a cool concept. So in the end, Omi comes out on top, which is not that surprising. He gets Jack's Jetbutsu, which thank God, because he was getting show-offy with those.
I communicate with my feet.
If I had feet, I'd communicate all over you.
And they end up finding a girl trapped in ice. Avatar The Last Airbender, third reference, if anything. Raimundo's like trying to be heroic and be like, somebody should save her, but then doesn't want to himself until Clay throws him in, and then he does. He saves her, and they're all like, oh my god, this is not just a normal girl, it's a mermaid. And one by one, the monks just start flirting with her until this bigger man is actually also broken out of ice. He turns out to be the hunter. And everybody's like, oh my god, we have to protect this girl. So they use their Shengang Wu to push this guy away, only for Jack to, of course, save the villain. So Jack uses this guy to kind of work together and take Shengang Wu. And the girl explains to the monks her backstory, which turns out she was hunted for years, and just as she was about to get away, she was frozen. Kind of a depressing destiny, but it does make everything make sense. Even Dojo flirts with her. What in the world?
Hunting down a lady like yourself almost makes Jack Spicer look decent.
So they bring her back to the temple, as Omi just loves bringing people back. Meanwhile, this girl is using all the Shaolin monks to get her way and pretty much be pampered at the temple. I can't believe they even have like a well she could swim in. Like, is that not good? She teaches Kimiko how to use her femininity to get her way with guys, which is such an interesting plot considering we don't touch on this super often.
Should you not be doing your own chores? My arms are so tired, and yours are so strong. Oh, yes. If you, I will clean it at once.
And by the way, this guy's telescope looks exactly like a Shengang Wu in the DS game, the Emo Gazer, which is insane. I can't believe they just took a prop and made it a Shengang Wu in the video game. I don't think the writers intended that at all. Jack's pretty disappointed to find out the man he stole isn't actually super evil, so he's like running out of things to respect. All of it comes to a head when they get attacked by Jack at the temple. Of course, they try to defend themselves in an epic battle throughout the temple, even landing in the garden, which is one of my favorite locations in the show. And this man explains that the mermaid is not only not a pretty girl, but she's also a giant monster with claws and everything. Been working with the good guy, and the whole thing is twisted on its head. I always love this episode just for the morality switch up of it all.
Whoa, rewind. If she's a monster, that means you're, a good guy? But you need alone time.
And yeah, so the hunter ends up staying with the Shaolin monks and explaining her plan. So all these different perspectives contradicting each other definitely adds to the story a lot. Turns out the only Shengang Wu that are missing are a few of them. The boys, of course, gave her access to the vault, so she was able to steal it super easily.
Dyrus wanted to know which Shengang Wu would have the power to create giant volcanoes to melt the polar ice caps and flood the world. I assumed it was idle chat shit.
Which is so funny that they keep dealing with that same issue. She goes to get the next Shengang Wu, the Black Beetle, which actually protects you against fire. It's like an impenetrable armor for it, okay? So then what's the two-tone tunic? Whatever. We're gonna move on from that. So they all agree they're gonna take down Dyrus when they get to the new Shengang Wu. Omi tries to resist falling for her girlish charm when he uses the gills of Hamachi. Oh, I love seeing these Shengang Wu in action. He swims to try to find the Black Beetle, but comes across Dyrus, and she's very convincing, completely tricking him immediately. She even takes his gills of Hamachi. Oh my gosh. As she's trying to get away, Omi loses the Shengang Wu once again. This guy is so susceptible to the easiest tricks. Jack turns out to have fish bots to protect him, these sharks that'll also join him, and now he's trying to help the mermaid. Oh my god, Jack just wants to help whoever's evil, and I don't even get it at a certain point.
She's trying to flood the earth!
So, she's quirky.
Omi's able to get out of the ship and to the Black Beetle by fighting off Dyrus. She is planning to flood the entire world, which actually adds a lot of stakes to it, so you actually care about how this goes down. Omi ends up challenging her to a showdown outside of the water, which the hunter's like, that's so ridiculous, why would you do that? And then we get to see her true form, which is a giant ugly fish. Oh, I don't know what the message here is about looks, but it seems unnecessary to a show about 4 monk warriors. And she has so many Shengongwu, it's like not even fair she's using them throughout the game. By the end, Omi does turn the tables on her and comes out victorious. Right at the last minute, the hunter and Dyrus go at it once again, turn on each other once again, only to be encapsulated by even more ice, and history just repeats itself, I guess, because the monks leave them there. They don't even check to see if they're okay, but we do get to see that they're frozen in an iceberg, so I don't know whose problem this is going to be in 1500 years, but like, okay. Jack ends up begging the monks for help, which is ridiculous because he just turned around on them once again, but he can't go in the manta ray with them. Okay, really fun episode. I like the morality twists of it, like you definitely don't expect the perspectives to reveal as much as they do, but by the end, like, I feel like I was taken on a fun trip.
You must be Dojo-san. You are much smaller than I expected.
I could say the same.
Of course, we get a Kimiko episode next, which is super fun, one of my favorite characters in all of TV. It's called The Return of Pandabubba, which the title would be very misleading because you don't really know what's going to happen in it. It's more so focusing on the monks deciding to get the Zinzanbone, which is in Japan. Of course, that's home territory, and everybody's super excited. This is when Raimundo famously hits on her on top of the dragon, which I always thought this is what shipped them together, but, you know, I was never quite clear on it.
And super rich. Did I ever tell you that you are my favorite monk?
I thought I was your favorite.
We learned that her dad is super rich and actually in charge of a technology company, which in an AI world is really helpful. I bet he's rich by now. They come across Jack in one of the locations that also end up in the DS game. Oh, the DS game is so cool. And when they get to the Zinzanbone, it turns out to be missing. So Jack lost it and the monks? It's just a mystery as to where this could have possibly left. Now, they're not too upset about it. They just end up going to visit Kimiko's dad, which is so sweet. They have like little pictures of her, little gadgets he's invented when he was little. And yeah, you really learn a lot about Kimiko in the way she interacts with her dad. She has a super close relationship with him, and it's really sweet.
When I was little, he got me every electronic toy out there. I had to beg him to buy me clothes. You didn't wear any clothes?
We also set up something in this episode that ends up being here for the rest of the series. These little U-bots, which essentially take shape of their owner. Very confusing, and I'm still surprised we don't have something like this now. I feel like avatars are the closest you would get to this, but they immediately take shape the second the monks grab them. So yeah, they're little replicas of the monks, and these were also serving as bosses in the Xiaolin Showdown video game. Really cool. And Omibot sneaks away to find out that Kimiko's dad is actually working with Pandabubba, of all people. Oh my gosh. We reveal that Jack actually stole the Zinzanbone using a sneaky ninja bot, making the monks think that it was just taken, okay? I don't know why they just gave up on finding it. If I were them, I would have just kept looking, but whatever. And yeah, so Jack pretty much falls for Pandabubba's tricks once again, trading it for robot parts. Wuya is so angry about this, but hey, what can you really do? It ends up being too late the second he gets his hands on the Zinzanbone because he could turn everybody into zombies, which is a deep, dark metaphor for corporate America, which is so funny that they're touching upon all these AI concepts at this early 2000s show. Like, you do not expect it at all. So once they see that zombies are taking over all of Toho Miko Electronics, they start to act like zombies just to get into the mainframe. Kimiko doesn't believe her dad has done anything wrong, and she still, like, can't believe it.
I must get back to work.
Papa!
Go.
I'm not leaving without an explanation!
I want you all out of here now! Go!
until the Omibot gets footage of him using the Xingzang bone and turning her dad into a zombie. There's a really emotional moment where he's acting weird and Kimiko doesn't know what to make of it, and it is really touching because it's like, oh, they never have emotional segments like this. Even having Kimiko cry, like, it's the only time the show's ever featured that kind of emotion. I love it. I love that we have actually dynamic characters that are going through different things. Once they realize that it's not the dad's fault, but Pandabubba's, everything becomes clear. Pandabubba double crosses Jack, which isn't even surprising, nor worth making note of. And so it's up to Kimiko to stop this entire thing, which actually is really fun. I'm so excited to see her in a showdown. So they start to attack the factory workers and Pandabubba, only to get their hands on the Xingzang bone at the same time. So Kimiko is deciding to face off against this guy. It turns out to be a whole Goo Zombies level, which is this infamous fake video game that Raimundo plays in the first season, and it turns out this is Goo Zombies 4. Crazy that they covered this much throughout the show. I'm actually really excited.
Somebody press start already.
And it's really cool, the effects they put on it to make it look like a 32-bit old school type video game, even though it's the 2000s. Like, don't act like you were like the most retro, up-to-date, cutting-edge technology when it came to video games. And they all get to watch from like a little PSP, which is kind of cute. Like, they get to see what's going on the whole time. And they fight off these zombies, getting through different levels, and they just make up their own rules for this. It's really fun.
They're power-ups! Tango!
And by the end, they have a final boss they get to face, where Kimiko actually ends up victorious and has to defeat this monster, which turns out to be a little bit separate from Pandabubba. Like, he is thrown back. She comes up after the boss fight on top and winning the showdown, with everybody super excited. And the Xingzang bone's kind of disturbing looking. It almost looks like the inside of a pumpkin, and I hope that's what they were going for, because is that supposed to be gross? Yeah, so all the workers turn back to normal, and everything is all good, well, and done. Aw, Kimiko connects with her dad one last time, and we as the monks get to grow closer, knowing that they get another family member met. I still feel like having Kimiko and Clay only have plots when they're introducing other characters is a little bit confusing, but okay. This one was just a lot of fun for the showdown aspect of it. Like, the Xingzang bone is a cool Shengang Wu, and the battle they do to get it at the end is probably the most interesting in a while. I really like the way they go about these showdowns.
Yeah, my middle name is Discipline. Orb of Tornami!
The Last Temptation of Raimundo, Season 2, Episode 18. Another one of the final episodes without Chase. It actually focuses on, spoiler alert, Raimundo. So the monks are building a beautiful garden at sunset, and this is by far the most gorgeous scene of animation I've ever seen. I don't know why, just the sky and the monks over it, it just looks great. We see how impatient Raimundo can get. Wait, he uses the Orb of Tornami and pretty much ruins the river.
Sorry, but I think the orb is defective.
I'm pretty sure something's defective, and it's not the orb.
Meanwhile, Wuya announces there is going to be a special comet in the sky, and it turns out that they cannot use their Shengang Wu while this comet is active. Ooh, very interesting stakes. A lot of things have to do with the Shengang Wu and, like, using them or not using them, and I like how they're, like, this crazy source of power. Raimundo finds out that there is actually a volcano about to erupt in his home country of Brazil. And it's actually really heroic, but he tries to wake everybody up and get their help, but since nobody's waking up, he has to go to the vault and get the Shengang Wu himself, breaking the rule of not using the Shengang Wu during the comet.
Sorry, guys, but there's something I gotta do.
Next thing you know, he can't get these Shengang Wu off of himself. Oh no. It even silences him to go to sleep. Oh my gosh. When he tries to hide it from the monks, it does not work. The golden tiger claws break out immediately. And then the Wu start acting on their own, which is kind of chaotic. Like, we've seen them be taken before. We've seen them do crazy stuff. But to actually live their own life, oh my gosh. They go to college. Can you imagine? So it becomes everybody's job to make sure Raimundo doesn't go to sleep with all of these Shengang Wu attached to him.
I was just making sure you were asleep.
Well, can you do it without waking me every few seconds?
Then how will I know?
And Omi, of course, is the one on duty, and he is not even good at his job. Him and Raimundo are just such a funny pair sometimes. So Raimundo, in his sleep, escapes Omi. He gets to the vault, only he's taken by the help of the Shengang Wu, and so he starts getting more Shengang Wu attached to him, and it actually makes him lose more control of reality. The monks all wake up and try to fight him to stop himself, which is kind of a deep metaphor. This all feels like a metaphor for steroids, honestly. Especially when Wuya and Jack are watching from afar, and Wuya has the plan to give him the glove of Jisaku so he can attract more Shengang Wu, becoming even more uncontrollable. And yeah, this gets even more complicated as we speak.
No, I can't!
Yes, you can!
No, you can't make me! Ow! Ow! Oh!
See? Raimundo's willpower is already growing weak.
Omi actually goes up to him and tries to convince him to come back, which works. As he becomes more possessed, he's less control of himself, and he is acting like a monster. It's just unfortunate he doesn't really have control. He's acting like a monster even at the dinner table, and they even have to have a moment where they're like, this is not the Raimundo we care about. And it's like, oh my gosh, what, are you gonna kill him? Like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah, Rai doesn't look too good. He looks patched together.
Not to mention huge, freakish, and scary.
So yeah, he just gets worse and worse and eventually flies out of the temple, only for the monks to realize that they have to do something about this. Omi believes that Raimundo somewhere is in there, deep down, trying to fight this monster, which is true. It also, again, feels like a metaphor for drugs. Wuya finally enacts her plan where she possesses Raimundo, therefore owning all these Shengang Wu, so it's kind of like worse than Mala Mala Zhong? Wow, I wish I knew that was the plan, because this is terrifying. They end up doing this full showdown, which just feels like the longest showdown ever, where they have to collect all the Shengang Wu from the other person, which is a really convenient showdown, and this thing goes on, like, sideways, backwards. Whoever animated this, like, I feel bad. This looks really complicated.
Oh, my house!
So as time progresses, Omi starts to get Raimundo to use his willpower to stop this monster, and it actually ends up working. Like, he can't do... Like, they try to do the Dragon X Kume, and even though Raimundo's not a part of it, he can't resist the urge to work as a team. And it's actually really sweet. It's like a really powerful moment disguised as like an action sequence, and I love how that transpires. Raimundo finally overcomes this, and they all go back to normal, which makes it feel like a really fun episode. It definitely, like, breaks the mold of what we've seen before, and then also having Raimundo turn against the dark side again, I like that. But you know what? This is not the end of his crazy hijinks.
You animals are all very rude and very lazy. No more water for any of you.
The year of the green monkey is when things truly kick off for the worst. So Chase has been like a sideline character for quite some time, but this is when he starts enacting a bunch of little plans that end up serving a larger goal, and you do not see it coming. Like, you could see little steps towards something, but you don't know what it is. It starts with the monks racing with horses, which is actually so funny. Like, what part of training is this? Of course, Clay's the happiest because this is his element. And Omi starts getting bullied by the animals when he's able to speak to them.
Any more compact, and we'd need a microscope to find you.
Really distracts him for a while, and kind of sets up the fact that he's easily distracted. The Fountain of Wei reveals itself, which turns out to be a super important Shengang Wu that isn't just going to be used in this episode. It grants its user unlimited knowledge, but without control, so you just get a bunch of random information.
When combined with its sister Shengang Wu, the Eagle Scope, the two can be used to unlock the greatest secrets of the universe.
This Shengang Wu takes them to a junkyard, which I'm so surprised that Dojo hid this in a junkyard. Like, what are the odds this was the same over 1,500 years? And Jack tries this new Jackbot, which is essentially a junk bot, maintained of all the individual pieces of the trash, which I don't know how Jack got here first, if he knew the Shengang Wu was going to be here or what. Like, this is a little bit confusing. So Chase starts watching from afar and shows up to Jack's place later. Ooh, very ominous. He doesn't tell him the whole plan, but he says that he's going to use him to help him get in his own evil army. Ooh, of course this sounds great to Jack.
Wow, that is so cool! I've always wanted my own evil army!
but we don't really know what this entails. Later, the monks find a giant Trojan horse type statue, which is just Jack with a bunch of fruits, and then they destroy it. I don't know what they were thinking he was trying to do, but they kind of move on from the situation, only for Jack to get in the temple and start making his way toward the vault. Of course, Omi's already blocking the vault, but Jack outsmarts him with his monkey staff and sneaks into it, stealing a bunch of Shengong Wu. Oh wait, no, he doesn't steal a bunch of Shengong Wu, he steals one Shengong Wu, which actually really confuses the monks. So this is when monkey power apparently is at its most prominent, and not only does Chase know this, but Master Feng knows this. This is apparently a well-known thing. So these green monkeys come from the forest, cued by Chase Young with the tongue of Saiping. And he basically tells them they are ordered to follow Jack's instructions, because the monkey staff is the most dangerous to whoever is using it during this time.
This is the proudest day of my life!
Which, of course, is Jack. So he's essentially, like, this giant distraction, and everything that happens in this episode is just to stop the monks from getting the next Shengong Wu, which is so crazy when you think about it, because it's not initially set up that way. It just appears like Jack has the upper hand over them, which he does. He takes over the entire temple using this army of monkeys, which is kind of his dream. Like, I feel like this is the highest he's ever gonna get through his goals. And even then, he's, like, not in much control. Like, he becomes more and more like a monkey every day.
Looks to me like Jack's lost all interest in Wu.
Do you think he even remembers he's a human?
I know I don't.
Since they got the Fountain of Wii, Omi uses it to try to get information to stop these monkeys, but it doesn't quite work out. I don't know why Master Feng couldn't help. And Chase Young and Wu Ya start hanging out a lot more. Like, I feel like this is what marks them permanently being together when Jack is distracted and she's, like, complimenting him. And we reveal that his plan is to groom Omi and get him to be an evildoer.
The Eagle Scope cannot fall into their hands.
No, never! Why not?
With both Shengong Wu, they would learn the secret to rid the world of evil forever.
Chase really just wants to get to the next Shengong Wu on his own, which is crazy because he never seeks out the Shengong Wu. So the fact he is like a heavy deal. Which you're like, okay, there's no way that's gonna happen until you see this plan like very slowly come to fruition.
Now I understand! Jack is a mere puppy!
Puppet, I'm guessing.
So Omi tricks Jack into going into a Xiaolin Showdown by luring a bunch of bananas, and there's a lot of, they bite each other's butt to get out of this showdown, which is so funny at first, because at least Jack is a monkey and has an excuse for it, but Omi does it to win the showdown, and it's like, how far is he willing to go?
I think that move would have worked on Jack, even if he wasn't a monkey.
So this ends up defeating Jack and his reign over the Xiaolin Temple, which was super short, and we find out by the very end of the episode, when things are supposed to get better, that the Eagle Scope has been taken. The Shengong Wu that pairs up with the Fountain of Wii that actually would allow the user to see how to destroy evil or good, which is crazy to think that you have that much power of information, and that this is like one of the biggest Shengong Wu to get them in danger. Meanwhile, the monks have just never had the monkey staff, I guess, so they all take turns being a monkey, and that's how the episode ends. What in the world? All around, like, the beginning of a really dark and threatening plan.
I'm on the internet?
In warrior chat rooms everywhere. You big laughing stock.
We take a break, though, for the next episode, the Demon Seed. Pretty much, Master Feng gives the monks a new task that kind of doesn't really have to do with their normal tasks, so I'm a little confused, but I digress. So it starts out with the monks using the Shengong Wu to play chess. Ooh, that's really fun. A large chess with Shengong Wu. Like, the fact that they're able to, like, start using this with better abilities every time is really cool. I don't know if the animators were intending to set that up, but you could really see the growth of them as warriors as time goes on. Omi remains impatient as Master Feng shows them all this new temple garden, a new place that we're going to be seeing throughout the rest of the show, even though there's only like 19 more episodes. And it's actually really beautiful, like seeing all the plants, and Master Feng turns this into a lesson. Turns out the statue turns around and leads them down a dark new vault that is activated through flowers. Oh, really gorgeous. I love it. Turns out that the Xiaolin Temple is the guardian of the demon seed, this really evil Haylin seed that has the power to destroy the world and has before. It feels a lot like the plot where Dojo was stuck in the prison and they're like, do not let him out at all costs. But this one actually gets a little bit more of a backstory. Turns out it's gotten away in the past and almost destroyed all humanity, which is definitely a dark story.
Merely ended life as we know it. This special vault was built to keep the seed where no evildoer would ever reach it again.
Jack talks about how he misses Wuya, which means it is official. She's not here anymore. And they don't have like a formal like breakup. She just kind of goes with Chase. And he ends up getting a new robot that looks like her. And I'm really concerned for him. Like, what is going on? Vlad shows up. And this ends up being a series of guest star villains that actually try to help Jack, when really they're a lot stronger than him in every measure, which is so funny. He's like, Jack, we can stop this demon seed.
We should join forces, become big-time evildoers, maybe even have own evil reality series.
An evil reality series? I love it!
So they team up and anticipate getting this seed, which is convenient because Raimundo at the same time thought it was a good idea to take this seed to the beach. I can't even tell like what his responsibility is at this point. Like, he is clearly not growing from any of his mistakes. Yeah, Master Feng says it can't hit sunlight, it can't hit rain. Like, he has set himself up for disaster. Obviously, they don't know Jack's coming, so when him and Vlad end up getting the seed, it's already too late. Clay chases him, but only because he has the hot dogs, not even the demon seed. What the world?
And the hot dogs. Come back here with them doggies, you no good low-down snake, you yellow-bellied, dirty little sidewinder, I'm gonna get you!
Immediately, the monks are warned that the demon seed has been activated. Dojo can feel it, and it becomes a little bit more of a horror episode. Again, kind of like the Sapphire Dragon episode, kind of also like the Dojo becoming evil episode. So this giant plant takes over all the temples, specifically the vault, and takes all the Shengong Wu. None of the kids' elements really help, and they even stop Omi from using his, because it would just grow the plant. Like, they just have to stop this plant from growing more. He gets all the Shengong Wu, and his name's Gigi, by the way. Jack names him Gigi and is like, you're gonna work for me.
And I'll call you Gigi. You're gonna be my new evil pet.
Ooh, I'm a very, very lucky plant, don't you know?
And of course, you know that this plant is probably more powerful than Jack. Dojo forgets to warn the kids that Gigi has little plants that possess them, that can turn them into plants themselves, and it becomes a horror show as you watch Omi see his friends turn into giant plants. Actually, him and Raimundo are still normal, so they get away with it, taking care of all the monks, and it's kind of depressing when you think about it. Turns out the Moonstone Locust, the Shengong Wu that's about to reveal itself, is the only thing that could stop this. Enact a bunch of locusts that could stop plants to this measure, which is a little too convenient. I don't know why the monks back in 1500 years ago didn't do that, but okay.
I admire your tasty fruit.
Well, just be careful what you go plucking there, partner.
Gigi turns on Jack and Vlad, which is not surprising. Everybody seems to turn on Jack after getting initial help from him, which is so crazy. Like, I feel so bad for him.
You are such a weenie. I never want to speak to you again.
This plan is taking over the entire world, and even Omi gets taken over. So you think this is about to be the end of it. But since this is Raimundo's mistake, it does kind of make sense. He's the one that goes into the showdown for the Moonstone Locust, and him and Gigi wager Shengong Wu. I don't know how Gigi knows what a Shen Yibu Dare is, which is, by the way, when they use 2 Shengong Wu instead of just 1, which makes the wagering a lot higher. And yo, Raimundo uses the gills of Hamachi! Yay! The gills are like my favorite Shengong Wu, so I love it whenever somebody uses them. I just wish I could breathe underwater. The battle ends in epic proportions as Raimundo takes down Gigi with the reversing mirror of all things and saves the day, which is nice because he's been having some negative episodes, like literally the one where he was getting possessed, and now he made this mistake with the demon seed, which, by the way, like, is a very immature mistake. I can't believe he did this. This feels like a backtrack of character for him, if anything.
I could not have fought better myself. Okay, I could.
So yeah, by the end, he redeems himself, and they take on the responsibility of being the Guardian. But I don't think Raimundo learned anything, because by the end, he kind of laughs about it, okay? Yeah, so that is the Demon Seed episode. This is when we go headfirst into the Chase Young arc that really takes Omi for a turn.
Oh, stop that! You're not allowed to evil laugh until you can do it neatly.
The New Order is the turning point of the whole series. I just think this episode is so good because it establishes so many things alongside being another step in Chase's plan to turn Omi to the dark side strictly by choice. It starts with the monks going to get a new Shengong Wu, of course, through this giant cavern. Jack still has Cyclops. Without Wuya, he's still struggling. Like, he only gets these one-off characters to help him. And they get the stupidest Shengong Wu ever, the Shengaroo, which just allows you to ride in a pouch of a giant Shengong Wu. Omi gets it, and it doesn't even result in a showdown. It just has Jack basically being super weak, and all the monks getting too confident that they could take down evil at all costs.
You may have beaten Chase Young once, but he was not defeated. To eat rotten egg rolls once is difficult. To eat them twice is another thing.
It's mainly because Jack gets the Shengong Wu, and they always have the upper hand over him. Such a genius idea, but I don't know why Wuya's interest in Shengong Wu is completely depleted. Well, I guess it hasn't. She's begging Chase to go get Shengong Wu, but he's just like, no, I don't believe they're ever powerful, which is a really scary mindset for him to have. Like, I always wonder where this is going, because having to do with the entire show, like, how could a villain not want to get Shengong Wu?
That is exactly the point! You don't understand! Kindly leave me to my plans.
Such command.
We learn later that there's even further issues with him, and this guy's like possessed. He's able to just float in mid-air. I don't know what Chase is capable of, but like, it has not been used to its fullest extent. The next Shengong Wu, Chase actually ends up getting, which is even more surprising because it just shows like, why in the world does he need this one in particular? Of course, we know that the Wushin Geyser, which is the Shengong Wu, is actually going to be really helpful to enact his plan later. It basically allows you to erase somebody's memory. And they purposely don't even tell you what the Shengong Wu does because they want you to figure it out in the 3-part episode at the end of the season, which is crazy to think about.
Perhaps you would like to take the Shengong Wu from me with my back turned.
If there's one thing I can't stand, it's a cocky evildoer.
So Jack ends up doing something normally he wouldn't do. He uses the Sphere of Yoon from the older episode with the Black Vipers to capture Chase, and he gets all of his powers. Oh my gosh, so that Black Vipers episode really did play an important role in this whole system.
He's right. The Sphere of Yun not only traps its subject in a cage, but gives its possessor control of its possessee's possessions. That's a mouthful.
The name The New Order, which is the episode, definitely implies that like there is going to be a huge shift in the political world of good and evil, which is so fun that like they knew exactly what they were doing. So Jack inherits everything Chase had, and with all of his possessions, like he becomes a super powerful guy, mainly using the jungle cats to destroy all the monks over and over again, and they do not know what to do about it.
Otherwise, prepare for defeat. You're more full of yourself than me.
See, this is what happens when you get too cocky, guys. The monks got too excited. So now Chase is trapped, and Jack gets palace and everything, and he is just living in it. Which, obviously, you know something's gonna go wrong. There's no way Jack can hold on this long. Him and Cyclops, like, take over the whole place, and Wuya just tries to play for the other team the entire time. She's like, I always liked you, Jack.
Oh, Jack, you know you were always my favorite.
And you really see how evil she is. There's, like, no respect out of her. But she's, like, admitted before she's pretty conservative. Like, she likes old ways of evil. Like, so it makes sense that she's into very rudimentary trust issues. So Jack even takes over the temple, stealing a bunch of Shengong Wu, and pretty much injuring everybody in the process, even causing Master Feng to come out of his trainer position to fight for them and defend them, which is actually a really gorgeous scene. I love seeing him in action. It definitely shows how courageous of a person he is, and I'm still confused about his place in history, considering we know, like, Master Dashi, Master Monk Guan, and Chase Young. When did he come into the fray? Like,
I am fine. I am just not as young as I used to be. We must get to the vault at once.
Such an interesting character. So as Jack steals all the Shengong Wu, the monks cannot beat him in a fight. Omi even points out, like, it was better when Chase had the power, because at least he didn't try to get Shengong Wu, which everybody's like, Omi, how could you think like that? Like, that's the enemy.
What are you talking about? He's the enemy, Omi.
I was simply talking out loud. I meant nothing.
And so Omi makes a crazy, crazy decision to actually free Chase Young, do something good for an evildoer, which seems like it's going to be for the better of the Shaolin monks, but I don't think he thought it through enough.
I have not come for a visit.
So why are you here?
To rescue you! Reversing mirror!
So when he shows up and actually saves him, he gets all of his powers back, and Chase just thanks him. They have like kind of a moment together where they realize how alike they are, and they fight for what they think is right, not for the greater good, which is definitely an interesting character flaw that's needed to get Omi to even consider the dark side. So this is like the first important step, where he lies to his friends.
Isn't that what evil is all about? A lie here, a little bad there. Suddenly it's so easy.
And Chase actually points this out to be his first walk into evil. Of course, Jack comes back and doesn't even consider he's not in the orb. He's desperate immediately.
Hey, how'd you get all the way over here when I left you over there? Please don't hurt!
Of course, Omi already being there gets really suspicious, especially when the monks show up without Omi and they're like, why are you just with Chase? Like, he does not know how to explain this action. So they end up doing a very performative showdown where both of them seem like they're trying to take down one another, but really it's just a performance. And I'm so confused. We get to see a lot of the most ridiculous martial arts moves which are made up, and I don't know who was making these up, but they're actually really funny.
Rooster calling sun!
Wasp stinging flower.
Cheetah at rest!
Mosquito climbing tree.
Eating crackers!
Grasshopper doing dog paddle.
They have got to be making this stuff up.
In the end, Omi beats Chase, making their alliance equal, which is super interesting. He kind of points it out to Omi, and Omi doesn't tell his friends, so it's kind of something he hides with shame until they point out that, like, this could mean something bigger. And of course, Omi, in this moment, doesn't want to admit anything.
Did I really win? Or did he just let me win?
Why would Chase let you win? Yeah, it's not like you ever did anything for him.
So yeah, then it gets even further stakes risen as the Apprentice episode comes along, episode 22, where Chase actually tries to enlist some of the evildoers on his side.
I am preparing you to fight Chase Young.
It starts with the monks actually training intentionally to go against Chase Young. And I want to know what Master Feng's plan here is, because he's like, okay, we need to fight him and learn deception. So one by one, the monks just lie to each other to get to the top of the hill. And of course, Kimiko gets to the top because she's the smartest and the best monk. We just don't give her enough attention. I like her plotline the most. And Jack brings another Jackbot to life once again, because he just cannot survive on his own. Chase tells Jack that he's up against Catnappy for the next Shengong Wu, and whoever gets it will earn the right to be Jace's apprentice. And it starts to be a common goal of his to find an apprentice. Even though he knows he wants Omi, he lets the position open to other people. But he doesn't even let them, like, go through with it.
I'm not offering you anything but the chance to win the job. You'll be up against Catnappy.
Perfect.
Catnappy ends up coming out on top, and the U-Bots make a return. Yeah, as they're all getting the Woozy Shooter, the item that allows you to blow a puff of smoke that makes all of you act drunk, the U-Bots distract the monks, and it actually really works. They're reprogrammed to be evil, which is Catnappy's idea. Definitely worked out in her favor.
Howdy, partner. Well, if it ain't my little metal mini-me.
And Jack is late to the Shengong Wu. Wuya points out he doesn't even know how to wear the right socks, which is so funny.
And he can't even dress himself. Look, different colored socks.
Hey, I just have trouble with my reds and browns.
And yeah, they're mad at Jack just because, like, why are all the evil villains getting so good at this? Jack ends up trying to play the pity card and go to the monks and be like, I don't know what to do with my life. And he's going through a really dark time period, which is very interesting for his character. They, like, set him up to actually have a conscience, and Omi starts vouching for him. He starts vouching for a lot of evil people in this episode, which is so interesting for him because it shows that he doesn't see good and evil as much as he does good and bad decisions. So he convinces Master Feng to let Jack be a Shaolin warrior with them.
Jack Spicer has agreed to join the forces of good.
Omi, I am not sure if...
Please, Master Feng. I will teach him. And as you have often said, a foe turned to a friend is the most powerful of allies.
And I wish the entire episode was based on this, like Jack trying to be a Shaolin warrior, but it is a funny sequence. I'm glad we get it nonetheless. He can't even fit into the warrior clothes. So Omi and Dojo keep giving him chores, and he does not know how to handle it. Later, there's an opportunity where the U-bots are trying to get away with the Shengang Wu, because obviously Catnappy is pretty good at this, and they use the woozy shooter to distract the monks.
How does this go? Typhoon boom!
Water? No, you're not water! I'm water!
Jack actually has an opportunity to prove he's turned to the good side and stop all these U-bots from getting the Shengang Wu. You think at first that's what he's trying to do, but he turns on the monks and runs away as they fight the U-bots. Okay, so yeah, Omi realizes that he is too trustworthy and doesn't know how he didn't see this coming, which is so real.
And we owe our victory to the brave actions of the reformed Jack Spicer.
I see. And where exactly is Spicer and the Shengang Wu?
And I'm definitely worried about this guy for the future, as things are going to get a lot harder in this regard. Master Feng kind of points it in his face. He's like, and where are the Shengang Wu? And I'm like, come on, Master Feng, give him a break. Chase is super impressed and even gives him an opportunity to work with him, thus firing Catnappy, I guess.
All I can say is Jack Spicer has arrived!
3-second rule.
And next thing you know, Catnappy is a warrior at the Xiaolin Temple too. This just shows that Omi has not learned his lesson 3 times in a row and keeps trusting people and not even considering that they could have dark intentions, which Catnappy doesn't even like try to act like she doesn't. So they all try to steal the Shengang Wu from Jack and kind of work as a team. It's weird seeing Catnappy and Omi work together of all people, but yeah, they break into the safe, and this was my favorite part when I was a kid. I don't know why Catnappy doing this was just so funny to me. And they end up breaking Jack's head off.
Time for my revenge, Jack Spicer! Huh? I did not want that much revenge!
Turns out it's just one of the robots, and as they get to the stash of Shengang Wu, Omi and Jack face off. And this is where we get the moral of the episode, where Jack and Omi start questioning each other. I made a video breaking down the best showdowns, and this is like one of them because it's just truth and a lie and them catching each other. It's basically who is willing to lie, and Jack lies constantly, and Omi is just showing that he is naive, but he's still like a kind-hearted person, which doesn't end up working out in his favor. Except for in this showdown where he wins, gets all the Shengang Wu, but Catnappy left with all the rest of them. Oh my gosh. So yeah, Catnappy wasn't good. Omi fell for it once again. Oh, but he anticipated it. Okay, cool. So by the end, the monks do win. They do get their Shengang Wu back, and Chase is even more impressed. Oh my gosh, he like goes into the shadows, and it's very ominous.
You had some day there, champ. You lied your head off, broke into a lair, cracked open a safe, and had a girl beat up.
At the very end, they show this quick scene where the monks are playing cards, and you show that Omi has gotten good at lying. A really controversial issue that ends up working out in his favor. Oh my gosh.
You are all my friends. I could never lie to my friends. I have mastered deception!
But yeah, I love that it's just a comedy beat disguised as like a real character moment. Like, you definitely should be concerned if you see him acting this way, especially Omi of all people. Speaking of trust, the trust gets harder to not break as something Jermaine comes up.
You brought me a present! Oh, you shouldn't have.
That's good. Because I didn't.
The character Jermaine from Season 1, My Homie Omi, comes back, and he is a Shaolin dragon now. Something that all the monks have been working toward their entire life. Like, Omi is so jealous, and it shows. He doesn't even know how not to act bitter in front of him.
I always wanted to check out Omi's crib.
You hear that? He thinks I sleep in a crib!
The animation's really good at making this such a comedic effect as opposed to just like an outward aggression toward each other, and I like the cartoony nature of it all sometimes. It definitely disguises its darker plot points in plain sight. Tubby Mora works with Jack this episode, so it's good to see he has another partner, and his life has not gotten better. It's like his depression arc continues further and further.
I heard she dropped you for Chase Young.
Then why did you ask?
I wanted to see that look.
And Tubby-Mora even uses Jack because he has not paid him back, so in order to keep his company, he helps him get Shengang-Wu. Jermaine transfers to the temple, and I'm curious how these transfer processes work. Like, how are you just able to get another person? Like, don't we need a lot more people if we're gonna take down Chase eventually? I digress. So yeah, Omi and Jermaine start to have a lot of tension between each other, even losing the Manchurian Muska Shengang-Wu, which turns you into a fly. I don't know if they needed that in the first place, but still interesting nonetheless. Yeah, this attitude takes it back all the way to the temple with both of them turning against each other, and it's so sad to see how they just like lose their friendship. Dojo even gives them a little speech on how he lost his friends, and I like that Dojo is essentially like this old man rehashing old stories. Like, he's just so funny at some points.
The only time that scoundrel could ever tell the truth! I'm happy he's gone. Good riddance to Yo-Yo Faith!
Dojo, why'd you spit in my food?
Oh.
Master Feng encourages the boys to spar, which is very surprising, and I can't believe they're not using Shengang-Wu. This doesn't really sit over well with Jermaine, which makes a lot of sense. And the two are brought to such a distance, like, Jermaine leaves the temple, and we don't really know why, but we learn it's to work with a new master. Okay, so this actually solves Omi's problem, but doesn't really, as it's revealed that Jermaine is actually working with Chase Young.
To the next level, will then have earned a permanent place at my side.
Yo, I'm ready for anything you can throw me, boss man.
I'm sure you are.
Whole journey to get an apprentice is not really over now that Jack and Katnape are gone. He's training this former Shaolin monk to get ready to train Omi. Oh my gosh, he's literally not even being like subtle about his intentions. So Jack ends up trying to steal Shengang-Wu back, only for the monks to stop him.
But I am not sure if I will.
Jack Spicer, you no good rustler. What are you doing here?
Nothing.
And they learn that Jermaine is, in fact, working for Chase Young. So it becomes a huge part of the episode, and Omi realizes his responsibility in all of it. And you start to feel bad for him because he's recognizing every evil move he makes, and that definitely comes in part with his decision to turn to the dark side inevitably. So it's very freaky. There's a really cool standoff for the next Shengang-Wu, the Golden Finger, which is one of my favorites, and in every Xiaolin Showdown video game. Ooh, I like this.
Jermaine wagers the lasso boa boa.
Let's go! Xiaolin Showdown!
And even Chase feels the need to intervene and actually be a part of the fight, but he bows out right when they get to a showdown. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, he makes everybody do his dirty work, and Dojo with the chalice is calling the shots for the showdown. It ends up being this huge chariot race, which is very interesting. I feel like it's a unique for the showdown, especially considering that they're in Greece, like of all places to do a show off like this, and having him and Omi like turn on each other throughout the whole time up until the very end where they realize that they're each trying to do the right thing.
Go ahead, defeat the young monk and receive your reward.
Oh, this is so exciting!
You're not playing with me, are you?
No, but I will if you want.
Make up in the end, only for Chase to reveal this was all a part of his plan. Oof. It is surprising that Jermaine didn't know the entire time that he was working for evil. Like, Chase didn't say anything, but he couldn't pick it up from the palace around him. Like, that's kind of a big deal.
You were the one I was testing, and you passed as I expected.
Man, that guy is wigging out.
Yeah, all around, Jermaine didn't realize that was happening, and when he does, he quits, goes back to be a Shaolin Dragon somewhere else, because I guess that's where they're doing it, and Omi says goodbye to him. At least everybody, like, got better by the end of the episode, and we're just getting dangerously close to the finale of this show. The next episode is the final step in Chase's big plan to start this 3-part episode arc of evil.
The Hadoku Mount Shengang-Wu! Protect me! Or at least hold me tight.
All the monks are headed down to the center of the earth once again, which, why don't you just get all the Shengang-Wu while you guys are down there? Like, they've gone to the center of the earth like 3 times at this point. Jack has these new bots that like dig. They're like worm bots, and it's really disturbing to look at. They try to get the Hadoku mouse, which actually allows its user to undo a mistake. The fight in this entire episode actually is external. These giant bugs start attacking, and Jack apparently accidentally released them, and they are able to consume the entire world, according to Master Feng. So kind of like the Demon Seed, but worse. And it just seems like things are just so bad all the time in this universe. Like, I feel so bad for the monks. Like, are they the only people working to stop this? Like, there's not even any adults?
I understand it was your idiocy that released the spiders.
Yeah, I guess we got lucky on that one, huh?
You fool! How can we rule a planet if the planet no longer exists?
In the meantime, Chase tries to help Jack, of all things. These bugs can consume everything and actually lead them into danger too, because if the world doesn't exist, there's no evil or good, so what does it matter? And it just shows how high the stakes are that Chase is willing to work with Jack, and it's definitely the funniest encounter with the two. Like, they take Jack out of his bath, of all things.
Giving you a chance to make up for your ill deed and to show everyone what you're made of.
If the spiders rip me apart, everyone will see what I'm made of.
And I just really like the way these guys interact. I wouldn't mind a sitcom about these two becoming roommates. I think that would be hilarious. So the monks have no choice. The entire world is shaking and being consumed at the minute, so they have to act right now. Head back to the center of the earth to get the Hadoku mouse, which Jack and Chase are already trying to get. And despite the fact that Chase acknowledges they both want the same thing, which is to stop these bugs, they still go into a showdown regardless, which is crazy.
Lady Luck is finally spitting on us.
I think you mean shining on us.
So they fight throughout mud, which is so unnecessary. And it's kind of gross. I hate watching it. I hate watching Omi eat the insects. Like, didn't need to see that at all. And Jack ends up coming up on top, finally about to undo his mistake.
Okay, Jack Spicer, you have won. Now use the Shengang Wu to stop the spiders.
Not just yet. I want to savor the moment.
Go! Let's get out of here!
But then he makes another mistake of not trying to undo it. So the bugs end up coming in, they lose the Hadoku mouse and their opportunity to stop them, and basically Omi and Chase leave everybody behind to try to find help. As they get out last minute, I feel so bad for the monks. Like, I really hope Omi and Chase could come through for them. And them fighting for the same cause just shows how much they have in common, how good they are at working together. It's really stressful. This is where the Fountain of We plotline comes into play from the Year of the Green Monkey. Since Chase has the Eagle Scope and Omi has the Fountain of We, they could actually combine it and learn the secrets of the universe. Although they both will learn the secrets to destroying evil and destroying good, so it's kind of up to them to make sure they don't act on it, which is kind of scary because obviously Chase is evil, like he can purposely deceive, and Omi has to stick to his word because he's a good person.
You must give your word as a Shaolin warrior only to look for a way to destroy the spiders, and not evil.
You have my Shaolin word.
And oh my god, the complexity of this moral compass is just getting confusing and getting more confusing. They take down the bugs one by one, and you see how good they are at doing it. And they finally save their friends caught in a web, able to destroy these guys.
Suck out the fluids until nothing is left. What? A cowboy can't have a hobby?
Jack at the last minute betrays all of them, which is really confusing. Like, he takes the golden tiger claws and escapes, but then he's attacked by a giant spider, and that's kind of where it ends for him. Chase sees it through to the end and actually helps the monks as they use the black beetle to escape the lava. And the entire world knew about this issue, okay? This is the first time they're getting, like, actual recognition, and we see other characters in the Shaolin universe. Very surprising, but, you know, cool nonetheless. And Chase just heads off.
I gave my Shaolin word to Chase that I would not look to see how to destroy evil. That's okay. You had to. Well, I may have peeked.
The monks have a quick conversation with Omi where he's like feeling guilty and they're just like, don't feel guilty, you'll never be evil. And he's like, oh my gosh. It ends with a final comedy beat of Dojo thinking he was the one who defeated the spiders, but really did not do that. All around really crazy episode, and it leads us into the final installment of Xiaolin Showdown Season 2, the most important issue they will ever have to deal with, and it's Chase becoming on top.
Remember, Omi, there is always a place for you here at my side.
I could never join the Dark Forces.
Never say never. The world is a complex place. Sometimes our destiny is determined by events that are out of our control.
Yeah, judging Omi, saving Omi, and then finding Omi. Each with Omi in its title, they show a different process of how Omi is tricked into being Chase's lackey. And oh my gosh, it's so stressful. It immediately starts with the stakes up, and Master Feng is announcing one of them will rise to the next rank. Oh my gosh. So one by one, they all are praying it's them, pretty much fighting with one another and growing a distance between them as to how this is even gonna work.
Who else is it going to be? Raimundo?
Which is a nice theme for the rest of it, like the unity of them all, because Omi turning on them is definitely gonna make it harder to deal with. So yeah, they insult each other one by one, Omi puts in another sexist joke, and in this episode, for some reason, Dojo has a robot. What is with all these robots, and how is everybody able to make them? They all try to coerce Dojo into giving information that Master Feng has about who he's planning on picking for the next rank. And they're just so desperate, it's actually really cute seeing them fight against one another.
Just between us, El Dudo Dragano. Am I the one? Just give me a sign.
The one what?
Oh, yeah!
The Yin Yo-Yo reveals itself, which becomes one of the most important Shengang Wu ever. Even the scroll doesn't have enough information on it. It breaks in the process. And each of the monks are convinced that they're the one to win, and Dojo is too uncomfortable to tell them no. That's not true.
It will be good experience for those who did not make Wu Dai Warrior to work with a Wu Dai Warrior.
Glad you say it that way.
Chase watches from afar and announces that he is definitely going to turn him in the next couple scenes, which is kind of bold if you ask me, like admitting it right there in the open, but then I guess it is just to woo-ya. When they get to the Yin Yo-Yo, they all try to show off, and good timing, because Jack ends up recruiting all the villains. No more just one villain each episode. He's finally coming back on top, despite all of his losses.
We now have evil club jackets. Army of evil, attack!
And it distracts the monks for long enough for Chase to switch the Yin Yo-Yo with a duplicate Yo-Yo. Jack thinks he wins it and gets away. Okay, cool. So the monks are set on taking down Jack Spicer, which is the perfect scapegoat, and, you know, it's worked in the past, so why not do it again? But the monks end up turning on Dojo because they're really mad at him for not telling them that none of them were going to be the new rank. And then just out of nowhere, another twist happens. Just at the flash of a light, they're all beaten up and fallen to the floor. You know this is the work of a Shengang Wu, but you don't really know how to explain it. Neither do the monks. And I like that it's this whole mystery wrapped up in a larger issue.
How did all of this happen without us hearing anything?
We'd better check the vault.
Things get so much worse when Master Feng is missing. Oh my gosh. Omi's the only one who knew the secret to destroying evil. Brings us back to the Fountain of Wii episode and him and Chase teaming up, like keeping that secret. Like Omi is really cognizant on making sure he doesn't do that to separate it from evil.
Why would a Shaolin monk have to keep his word to an evil villain like Chase?
Because, apparently, unlike you, I take my word as a Shaolin monk very seriously. Honor is what separates us from evil.
And even the cinematography does wonders in this episode to show how Omi's morally confused. He ends up turning on Jack Spicer to try to get this Yin Yo-Yo back. So of course, Jack's the only one you could point to doing this because he's the one who has the Yin Yo-Yo. So Omi tries to take down Jack and can't really find anything and comes back to all the monks being taken by Jack. How in the world did Jack get around this?
It's only a matter of time before Jack finds Clay's tickle spot, and then he will have all the Shengang Wu.
Is already trying to get all their Shengang Wu. The stakes have never been higher, and Omi is still on the side of good, but doesn't know what to do. The only person he could turn to, of course, is Chase Young.
You are here about Master Feng. He's missing, and you must travel to the Yin-Yang world.
Yes. How did you know?
Let's say I have my sources.
What Omi's not realized is that he's been set up to feel like he needs help just to go to Chase, just to rely on him. A really dark and twisted thing for Chase to do, but sets up the plot so well. So Chase and Omi team up to take down Jack Spicer, and this is the third time they've worked together.
Evil Dream Team, attack! Top that!
Chase shows Omi just how powerful he is and takes Jack down in an instant using his warrior cats. And I think this is the first time we learned that these cats are actually fallen warriors, making Chase even scarier, because it's like, oh my god, he's defeated hundreds of people and they've all just become slaves to him? Like, what in the world? Yeah, I'm not ready for this kind of twist.
Savor the moment, young warrior. This is what it's all about. Army of warriors, rip them to pieces!
So finally, Chase and Omi get to save the Xiaolin monks, and the raid is over. Raimundo is upset with Omi for even trusting him, despite the fact that they were all just saved, and Omi's like, okay, why would I trust you over Chase, especially the way you're treating me, and it becomes a whole new moral issue. Chase is like, in order to save Master Feng, go to the yin-yang world. But since they don't have enough information, the monks are like, we have to figure out what goes on in this world. Are there any issues? And of course, that's exactly what Chase was banking on.
A true warrior acts first and worries later. Yin yo-yo!
Omi goes in without thinking because of his ego, and Omi rescues Master Feng, only to not realize that his chi bottle falls. Something that will happen in the yin-yang world. You lose control of your morality, which is an insane concept, and to think that their sense of good and evil relies with a chi bottle is even crazier. And when they don't have any chi, they're just like mindless zombies. I assume just like emotionless people without humanity. Very interesting concept, and like to be worried about the monks becoming this is definitely stressful. To hide his evil side, Master Feng kept in a meditative state and is not able to be woken up. This is all in time for Omi to actively choose to go to the evil side. Oh my gosh.
That should be me standing there.
Oh, always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Jack is jealous because it wasn't him, of course, and Wuya even, like, laughs at him for this too. By the end, all the monks realize they have to survive without Omi of all people, and we have never been more stressed out. Which leads us to the finale of Season 2 of Xiaolin Showdown, the most complicated episode of kids' TV I think I've ever seen.
Maybe it's time to take that well-deserved vacation.
Yeah, so it starts with a little bit of a recap. We learn that Chase has set up Omi to become on the dark side, and now the world is essentially in 1,000 years of darkness, all because of Omi. Dojo's taking care of Master Feng, who is barely conscious, and it's so sad to see him in this, like, vegetative, like, state where he's not communicating, he barely can do anything. Like, you're really worried about Master Feng. Meanwhile, Omi's not acting like himself, he's just, like, acting possessed, which I thought was the opposite of his intentions. I guess Omi still gave his word, so that's the most important thing to him.
But first, you must swear to me your loyalty.
I do swear my loyalty to you. Now can we fight?
But I guess Omi sees everything from a different light, so I guess that's like the whole complication. Jack prays for forgiveness to work with Chase, which is so funny because he's been rejected so many times by this man. And later the monks learn that Chase actually was the one who beat them all up when they had that little flash of anxiety earlier in the last episode.
Chase Young, what are you doing here?
Just taking care of business. Evil business.
Yin yo-yo!
Look, I insist. I'll give back all of the cool gifts you ever gave me.
Hey, that's me getting my butt handed to me. How come I don't remember any of this?
Funny you should ask.
Yeah, so we learned the power of the Wushin Geyser, which they got from a couple episodes ago, and now you know why Chase Young wanted it, because clearly he wanted to not be suspected by the other monks. He thought of everything, truly. He gets Omi to promise his loyalty to him, which he knows is a Shaolin word and super important to him, and since he's possessed, he doesn't know any better. So Chase ends up raiding the temple with Omi at his helm, taking down all the monks by their own warrior. An even darker way to do it when you know he could do it with the Jungle Cats easily. Like, I can't believe Chase is choosing to hold back so often. He even chooses to turn Wuya back to her regular witch self, without her former powers that took us to the 1500 Years of Darkness in Season 1. Yeah, so it's even worse than before, and Wuya is not even a measure an inch of the threat they're about to face.
What's going on? You don't think I'll be so foolish as to restore you to your full powers? You don't trust me? The very qualities that make you a worthy partner in evil make you, well, highly untrustworthy.
So the warriors decide to head off to the yin-yang world with the riskiest decision of finding the yang yo-yo, which will allow them to keep their chi and not switch from good to evil. And it's very risky because you don't really know if it's gonna be there, you just like have a good feeling. And they finally use the Sweet Baby Among Us. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's like a little standoff out front of Chase's lair as the monks for the first time are trying to take over Chase's lair. A really dangerous thing to do considering how evil he is. And they're face to face with all the enemies thus far. Woo, definitely high stakes.
And right on time.
Check it and weep, baby. No place to run.
They break into the palace only to confront Chase, Omi, and Jack all on the same team, and things are fiery. Omi is not holding back with hurting them, which is insane and scary. Next thing you know, Jack goes along with the monks into the yin-yang world, where they are trying to retrieve the yang yo-yo. They see the chi bottles and kind of start to understand what this whole thing is about, despite the fact they're like barely explaining it, and Clay, of all people, finds the new Shengang Wu. Ooh, awesome.
Even Dojo wouldn't hide it in the last place.
So he finds the Shengang Wu. Everybody can turn back, not as evildoers, except for Jack, which we later learn that he brought the reversing mirror into the yin-yang world, which definitely means that he's come back good, which is the opposite. I don't know, it's really funny. So Jack ends up being on the Xiaolin side, which is not helpful because obviously Omi was the most important. And Omi is on the brink of killing his former friends, which you've never seen so much action in this series. Like, I was terrified when I saw him come up with those blades. And not only that, like, not being able to hold back, using his ego for, like, the utmost evil is so scary of him.
Tsunami water blade! Ice!
Right at the last moment, Chase comes in, not even ready to fight, but to explain that Omi promised his loyalty to him, therefore he's not allowed to go back to the Xiaolin side. Oh my gosh, so it's like a really dangerous deal with the devil that ends with Omi being on evil's side. Whew.
Chase Young is right. As a Shaolin monk, I am bound by my word. I have no choice but to stay.
He becomes one of the jungle cats of fallen warriors, and you feel horrible for these monks. They barely escape outside of it, but at least they keep their humanity and they got the yo-yos back. But you know what? We don't even get to see what happens because that is the season finale of Xiaolin Showdown, with Omi turning. Oh my god, why do they do such a good job at, like, cliffhangers at the end of series? Like, this is such a good show for a cliffhanger. At least I wasn't, like, old enough to care about time in between episodes that I wasn't really waiting for the finale. Like, I remember seeing it pretty immediately after. But my god, if I tell you this was not the most interesting story I've ever seen in a cartoon show, I'm not lying, guys. This is such an interesting plot. Like, all of Chase's coercion, step by step, seeing him make one choice after another in the background, which finally ends up being the main plot. Like, it almost feels like it's like an 8-part story as opposed to just a 3-part one. Obviously, the main elements of his attack happened in the last couple episodes, but still, like, oh my gosh, watching the show back, I have a new appreciation every time for how well they set this up, how well they took it to the next level, and then even having, like, Jack go through his depressive state of working with a bunch of different villains, Omi slowly learning the difference between good and evil through his choices, and even the monks, like, kind of influencing him socially. And even, like, having a rank be, like, an important part of the monks' issues with each other, turning their backs, like, it just everybody working against each other, yet at the same time, like, I don't even know how to break this up. But you know what? This is going to be a lot of fun to break down in my next retrospective, Season 3. Thank you guys so much for supporting my Xiaolin Showdown episodes. Obviously, this is my favorite show. It's the only show I could sit here without even the episode in front of me and recite everything to you that has happened, because it's already ingrained in my brain. Because that's how good storytelling works, guys. And I swear, Xiaolin Showdown has done better storytelling than I've ever seen. But mainly because the fight between good and evil and the morality of decision making in that definitely is one I vibe with. It's one that I explore heavily in The Consequences of Victoria Gray, my new musical. But then again, Xiaolin Showdown wasn't the most popular show, so it seems like stories like this weren't necessarily what made cartoons work at the time, which is even more confusing to me and sucks because I clearly am an advocate for these types of episodes. But yeah, if you want something more socially thriller, like, you could definitely check out my musical. But in the meantime, be patient, because I'm gonna take my time with the 3rd season, and if you guys really thumbs up this video, share it, whatever, then I will make sure that is the best piece of media you've ever seen. Thank you guys so much for watching, Johnny 2000, and have a great day.